It is another very active weather evening across central and eastern Kentucky. I'm tracking the possibility of flash flooding and high winds just ahead.
With rounds of rain soaking the bluegrass, some creeks and streams and even rivers are getting pretty high.
There could be changes coming to how often you get your driver's license and how much you're paying for it.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
And good evening. We can really hear it coming down here on Winchester Road. Another soggy day across much of the state, and we're tracking even more rain moving across the region.
A flood watch is still in effect for most of our area, and that high water threat is why our First Alert Severe Weather Day continues here at WKYT. We begin with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey with a look at the radar right now. Chris?
Yeah, it is soggy, a wall of rain, heavy rain, right on top of the bluegrass region as of now. It is really coming down. You guys mentioned hearing it on the roof. Well, this is the view, Hamburg Pavilion in the distance. Our little local pond that sometimes develops in our front lawn when we get the heavy rains is starting to bubble up right now. It's an indication of just how hard it is raining right now in Lexington. Here's the flood and flash flood watch that'll take us through tonight for most of central Kentucky. Heavy rains across the bluegrass region and points to the east right now. Watch for ponding of water on roads from the I-64 corridor and right on top of the I-75 corridor as well. In the Lexington Metro, it's not going to take much to create at least some local stream and street flooding. Heavy rain for Versailles up into Midway and across the downtown area. Lexington setting some new records in terms of rain. We'll run those down for you coming up here in about 15 minutes. To the south of us, rains are even heavier. Nicholasville, Richmond, over toward Danville and Perryville, where you had Christmas Day flooding into Boyle County. Watching the skies opening up into London, Corbin, and Somerset. Now the back edge of this particular round of heavy rain on top of Russell Springs and Lake Cumberland, but look out to the west. That's another round of some showers and thunderstorms just ahead of our cold front that is taking aim at the region. That'll zip in here with some high winds as the evening wears on. Now the good news about all this, we're slowly but surely seeing light at the end of the tunnel, guys, as we go into a pattern that is going to try to dry things up and chill things down over the next several days. We'll run that pattern down and look at the record rains in Lexington when I come back in a few.
All right, Chris, we'll see you then. Thank you. With all of this rain, many areas are seeing some creeks and streams coming out of their banks.
But even some rivers are getting close to flood stage. In Harrison and Nicholas counties, a flood warning has been issued for the Licking River. Our Sean Moody is in Harrison County tonight with our top story at 5:30.
The National Weather Service doesn't expect the Licking River to officially hit flood stage, but even if it's not technically a flood, it's still a headache for the people who live here. You can see there are several inches of water covering the playground here along River Road. And they say this is something they have to deal with pretty often.
It's a headache. It's a headache constant.
People who live near the Licking River have come to expect high water.
You know, it's something that's not a surprise to me anymore.
It spills up over the banks pretty often along River Road in Cynthiana, and while it doesn't usually cause damage, it does complicate life a bit.
This morning we went out there, they had the roads cut off.
Robert Fryman lives just around the corner. He said it's not unusual for the rising river to create detours.
This road, it gets cut off so much, you know, and it takes from us because we had to go all the way around.
His house backs up to this park right across the road from the river.
It don't take much to flood this park at all. You know?
And when that happens, there's not too much climbing or sliding happening. The kids will just have to wait until it goes back down again.
I feel sorry for the kids. That's who I feel sorry for. When you got kids, you know, it's kind of frustrating. So.
The National Weather Service expects the river to crest late tomorrow night. In Cynthiana, Sean Moody, WKYT.
The National Weather Service expects that crest to be about 5 feet below flood stage. Remember, you can get the latest radar, forecasts, and weather headlines on WKYT.com and the WKYT News app.
State police say a man is dead after being run over by his own vehicle. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Knott County. Troopers tell us 54-year-old Steve Halcomb was working on his SUV along Trace Caney Road in the Pippa Passes community when it rolled off of its ramp. The SUV dragged Halcomb down the driveway, killing him. State police say no foul play is suspected. In Laurel County, a man is in jail accused of driving under the influence on a scooter. Deputies say 48-year-old James Forbes was driving the scooter recklessly on Laurel Lake Road. They tried to pull him over, but deputies say Forbes kept driving and then ran off the road. We're told that Forbes ran to his home where he was then arrested. Forbes faces several charges, including DUI and terroristic threatening. And in Madison County, 2 people have been charged with stealing from vehicles on Christmas. Richmond police say 39-year-old William McFarland and 31-year-old Stephanie Ledford were breaking into cars in the Shoppers Village parking lot. Police tell us McFarland tried to run off. He faces theft and fleeing and evading charges. Ledford was cited for attempted theft. She has since been released from jail.
The mayor of St. Matthews near Louisville is blaming social media and boredom for a chaotic holiday weekend at Mall St. Matthews. That mall closed early Saturday night after police say they had to break up fights involving as many as 2,000 juveniles. And tonight we're hearing what law enforcement dealt with while trying to clear the mall.
We've got multiple fights, crowds of hundreds. We've got stores going into lockdown, shutting their gates, etc.
The police say they also responded to reports of looting, people jumping on cars, throwing things, and gunshots, but no reports of gunshots were confirmed. No arrests were made and no injuries were reported. Police and mall management will meet this week to discuss policies that can prevent another disruption. They plan to announce what steps they plan to take on Wednesday.
They have been working on a plan to make Kentucky driver's licenses meet a decade-old federal requirement. The Real ID Act of 2005 requires a driver's license to be issued by a single state agency, but in Kentucky, the Office of the Court Clerk issues them. And tonight, officials believe they have a plan to meet the requirements. New at 5:30, Victor Puente breaks down the proposal.
Last week, the Transportation Security Administration updated their website to say the Department of Homeland Security is in the process of scheduling plans for Real ID enforcement at airports. Earlier this year, the state of Kentucky requested and received an extension on implementing the Real ID system. That extension expires in October of 2016, but officials say there shouldn't be a problem getting another one as long as the state shows the Department of Homeland Security that we've been making steps towards implementing that Real ID.
I feel that if we don't pass some legislation, that when the extension comes around again in October of 2016, that we very possibly could be denied that extension of working toward being Real ID compliant.
Last month, the commissioner of the Department of Motor Vehicle Regulation told a state committee changes to the way licenses are issued in Kentucky could help the state get compliant. That included having the licenses issued by local clerks but manufactured out of state.
Also, by going to central issuance, we get out of some security issues in a lot of our circuit clerks' facilities.
He also suggested moving to an 8-year renewal instead of 4 years and raising the price of licenses to $50, more than double the current price of $20. He said most of that increase is due to an increase in the cars themselves, which will require new security measures. For these changes to take place, they'd have to be brought up in the legislature this year. Cole says the earliest the state could begin manufacturing the new IDs would be 2019. In Frankfort, Victor Puente, WKYT.
The Transportation Security Administration has said they will give a 120-day notice to the public if they decide to implement any changes.
Hoverboards were a bestseller over the holidays, despite fire warnings and the possibility of injury. The gifts were mostly for children, but some parents wanted to try them out. And the results were funny, but also very painful.
This is a piece of cake.
Social media sites are full of parents attempting to take their kids' hoverboards out for a joyride, only to find themselves cruising for a bruising. The hashtag hoverboard fails has gone viral. Florida Congressman Carlos Curbelo shared a photo of his arm in a sling, tweeting, hashtag hoverboard is for kids. My daughter got it. I ended up in ER. Just before Christmas, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission reported the number of injuries associated with hoverboards and fires due to overheated batteries had spiked 25%. That's expected to rise dramatically in the post-holiday tally and worries some safety experts.
You have a product that doesn't have to meet any safety requirements and it's finding its way to the U.S. market.
Nathan Furness sells the boards in an L.A. mall. He showed reporter Ben Tracy the proper way to board the board.
Try to stand straight up.
Tracy thought he got the hang of it pretty quickly, but didn't. Thankfully, as his news camera shut down, Furness's cell phone caught Tracy hovering on the ground. And that may be the lesson of this holiday season. Something that seems like child's play is probably best left to actual children.
Did you get that on tape?
Yes, we did. Balancing may be easier on the board for the children because they have a lower center of gravity. But just in case, some parents are making their children wear helmets anytime they hop on that board, along with elbow, knee, and wrist pads. Basically all the protective equipment used for rollerblading and skateboarding.
The Democratic advantage in the state house is getting smaller as another state lawmaker switches parties.
And another state representative wants to limit the time that students spend on assessment tests. Bill Bryant explains in the bottom line.
Good evening. There was another party switch in Frankfort today, and it narrows the Democratic advantage in the state house heading into the session that starts next week. Representative Jim Gooch of Western Kentucky is leaving the Democrats and joining the GOP. That means the House now has 50 Democrats and 48 Republicans. Republican floor leader Jeff Hoover welcomed Gooch to the caucus. It comes as Governor Bevin's team continues to prepare for a January 26th State of the Commonwealth budget address. Bevin will lay out his spending proposal for the next 2 years and provide some clarity about how he wants to deal with the state retirement pensions and health care. The governor is also expected to push for right-to-work legislation, which has failed in previous attempts. A lawmaker is pushing to rein in the time Kentucky students spend on assessment tests. Some teachers have said the time they have to stop down interferes with their ability to get through some material to teach some subjects. Representative Darrell Owens, a Democrat of Louisville and the new House Judiciary Chairman, will push a provision in the upcoming session that would limit the time spent on assessment tests to no more than 5% of any student's instructional time during an academic year. With just a few weeks to go until the voting begins in the presidential race, including Kentucky's March 5th caucus, Republican candidate Donald Trump says even he is surprised that he continues to enjoy a wide lead in the polls. Trump told ABC News that he thinks beating front-running Democrat Hillary Clinton would be easier than capturing the GOP nomination. That remark comes as former President Bill Clinton is about to become more visible in his wife's campaign in New Hampshire and Iowa. Trump indicates he will have some things to say about that once the 42nd president hits the trail. Both sides working to drive up interest in tomorrow's special wet-dry election in Barberville. The polls will be open Tuesday in the Knox County seat from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
Lextran is ringing in the new year with some changes to its bus routes.
Starting Sunday, Lextran will be expanding its Sunday service routes. Riders who use routes 1 through 13, which include Versailles Road, Nicholasville Road, and Richmond Road, will see improved bus coverage and shorter travel time. The change comes as Lextran sees more of a demand from its riders.
We heard a lot about Sunday service and ways to improve our service on Sundays since more folks work on the weekends, 24/7 lifestyle, so improving our Sunday service was a big concern that we heard from our customers.
Also changing in 2016, the blue and green trolley routes will be suspended effective Saturday night. For more information on extended Lextran service, you can go to our website at WKYT.com.